Good day, everyone, and thank you so much for clicking again this video. And again, I am CJ-Ssaem, and for today, we are going to have our lesson under Arts 8, Quarter 2, is Asian Arts. But before that, let us have the learning competencies first. Okay, so for the learning competencies, we have the first one, define the elements and principles of arts in East Asia, A8EL2B1. And the second one, reflect the arts of East Asia, A8PL2H1. And for the lesson objectives, at the end of this quarter or at the end of this lesson, you will be able to letter A, analyze elements and principles of art in the production of art crafts inspired by the culture of East Asia. Letter B, identify characteristics of arts and crafts in specific countries in East Asia, such as China, Japan, and Korea. Letter C, appreciate the artifacts and art objects in terms of their utilization and their distinct use of art elements and practice. Okay, now before we move on to our lesson for today, let us look at the things that you know first. Okay, so what do you know? Number one, the art of producing decorative handwriting is called A. Origami, B. Calligraphy, C. Kumadori, D. Landscape painting. If you answer letter B, calligraphy, then you are correct. Very good. Next, number two, the painted faces of Kabuki theater. A. Origami, B. Calligraphy, C. Kumadori, D. Landscape painting. If you answer letter C, Kumadori, then again, you are correct. And the last one, number three, it refers to the four traditional Japanese art of paper folding. A. Origami, B. Calligraphy, C. Kumadori, D. Landscape painting. If your answer is letter A, origami, then you are correct. Very good. Now let us move on to our lesson for today. So before we begin, think about this. If you were asked to make a painting, what would you paint? Hmm. And number two question, why would you choose that? Okay, so the reason I ask you that is because that would be your activity for this lesson. But before we move on to our activity, let us have again this lesson. So we are going to have East Asian Arts again under Arts 8 quarter number 2. And in this lesson, we will learn about East Asian countries, specifically China, Japan, and Korea. These countries have been noted for their numerous similarities and commonalities in their art production, artistic tradition, and art principles as influenced by their history, beliefs, religion, location, culture, and even dynasty. So in East Asia, the objects or items that are usually put into paintings are called subjects, themes, or motifs. These may be about animals, people, landscapes, and anything about the environment. Painting started from prehistoric man. He used red, ochre, and black pigment. Early paintings often showed hunting scenes of a man chasing various animals such as horses, rhinoceros, lions, buffaloes, mammoth, landscapes, and everything about the environment. The history of Eastern painting is as old as the civilization of China. It is historically comparable to Western paintings. Eastern countries continued to influence each other's production of arts over the centuries. Now, we are going to talk about first the common subjects, motifs, or themes in the painting of East Asia. So look at this one. Okay, where do you think these paintings come from? Okay, if your answer is China, then you are correct. The painting subjects or themes from China are flowers and birds, landscapes, palaces and temples, human figures, animals, bamboos, and stones. And how about this one? Where do you think this painting come from? Okay, if your answer is Japan, then you are correct. Painting subjects or themes in Japan or from Japan are scenes from everyday life, okay, narrative scenes crowded with figures and details. And the last painting or set of painting that we have is this. Okay, so where do you think these paintings come from? Okay, if your answer is Korea, then you are correct. Painting subjects or themes from Korea are landscape paintings, minhwa, okay, four gracious plants, plum blossoms, orchids, wild orchids, chrysanthemums, and bamboo and portraits. Okay, now the important aspects in East Asian arts, landscape painting was regarded as the highest form of Chinese painting. We have here three concepts of Chinese arts: heaven, earth, and human or yin yang. Do you know what yin yang is? Do you have any idea what yin yang looks like? Okay, so look at the next picture. So here is yin yang. Okay, there's light and dark, day and night, good and evil, yin and yang. So yin yang refers to a concept originating in Asian Chinese philosophy, where opposite forces are seen as interconnected and counterbalancing. So it is commonly represented by the yin yang symbol, a circle made up of, as you can see, black and white swirls. Okay, now, silk was often used as the medium paint before, but it was really or quite expensive. So Kai Lun invented paper in the first century AD. The invention of paper not only is cheap or was cheap and widespread medium for writing, but painting became more economical. Okay, and now let's talk about the different arts and crafts from Southeast or from East Asian countries. So we have here the calligraphy. Do you know what calligraphy is? Okay, calligraphy is the art of beautiful handwriting. So you can usually see this whenever you like watching or when you like watching Korean traditional drama. So you can see the actors or actresses doing calligraphy. Traditional paintings involve essentially the same techniques as calligraphy and is done with the brush dipped in black or colored ink. And again, remember, oils are not used. Okay? And then the next one we have here origami. Who among here have tried doing origami? Okay, so the term origami come from ori, meaning folding, and a and kami means paper. It is the traditional Japanese art of paper folding, which started in the 17th century AD. Okay, next. Okay, we have also blood block painting. It's a technique for printing text, images, or patterns used widely throughout East Asia. Okay, it became one of the oldest and most highly developed visual arts. And the history of painting or Korean painting dates to 108 CE, when it first appears as the independent form. It is said that until the Joseon dynasty, the primary influence of Korean paintings were Chinese paintings. And mountain and water are important features of Korean landscape painting because it is a site for constructing temples and buildings. Now, this is an example of a painting which shows daily lives of those people from Korea. Okay, painting in East Asia do not only apply on paper, silk, and wood. Performers of Peking opera in China and kabuki in, yes, very good, Japan use faces as the canvas for painting, while mass painting is done in Korea. Okay, so let's look at these face paintings. So we have Peking opera, face painting of China, or Jingju Lianpu. It is done with different colors in accordance with the performance's characters, personality, and historical assessment. So as you can see there, okay, the hero type characters are normally painted in relatively simple colors, whereas enemies, bandits, rebels, and others have more complicated designs on their faces. It is a traditional special way of painting in Chinese operas in pursuit of the expected effect of performance. Originally, Lianpu is called the false mask. Okay, now how about this one? Okay, we have the kabuki makeup of Japan, or keisho. Kabuki makeup is already in itself an interpretation of the actor's own role through the medium of facial features. So we have another way of face painting which has actually two types. Okay, these are standard makeup and kumadori makeup. Standard makeup applied to most actors, and kumadori makeup applied to villains and heroes. Now, kabuki makeup of Japan have different colors. Dark red, which symbolizes passion or anger. Dark blue, depression or sadness. Pink, youth. Light green, calm. Black, fear. And purple, nobility. Okay, and the last one we have the Korean mask, or tal. Okay, originated with religious meaning just like the mask of other countries, which also have religious or artistic origin. So Korea has a rich history of mask. And of course, Korean mask, or tal, have the roles of colors in Korean mask. Okay, so we have black, red, and white for bright and vibrant colors that help establish the edge and race of the figure. Half red and half white mask symbolize the idea that the wearer has two fathers, Mr. Red and Mr. White. And the third one, dark face mask, indicates that the character was born of an adulterous mother. Okay, so did you understand? Do you have questions? If you have questions, don't hesitate to comment down below. Now, let us move on to the questions here. Let's see if you learned something from today's lesson. Okay, so what did you learn? Number one, which of the following is the ancient writing symbol of China? Origami, calligraphy, kumadori, landscape painting. If your answer is letter B, then you are correct. Very good. Next, number two. Which of the following is considered as the highest form of Chinese painting? If your answer is letter B, landscape painting, then you are correct. And the third one, the last one, it is also called tal with a religious meaning. Korean mask, face painting, kabuki makeup, or tattoo. The correct answer is yes. If your answer is letter A, then you are correct. Korean mask. Very good. So that's it for today's lesson. Thank you so much, and I hope that you learned something again from this video lesson. And don't forget to click the notification bell and like and share this video lesson so that a lot of students can also learn from this video lesson. Thank you so much, and see you again next time. Goodbye.